Alright, so this video is about solving trigonometric equations using your calculator. So we're going to use Desmos and our TI-84 to solve these equations. We're not going to do any unit circles or any other work, just solving using those. This is a way to check our answers. So let's start with Desmos. So our first equation is sine x equals 1/2, and so we're going to use Desmos for that first. So I have all of our equations entered for the entire. So what you want to do is enter the left side of the equation, the sine x on the left side, and the right side, which is a half. So you say y equals sine x and y equals a half. So we do this. We say y equals sine x and y equals 1/2. And then that's going to give us our graph that we need to find our answers. So we already know our sine. We'll do this between 0 and 360 degrees. And so the y equals a half would be here. And so you could see that there are two answers that we're going to get for our function, well, equation. And so right now it's in radians. So you're going to click on the little toolbar here. We're going to go down here and change this to 360 degrees so that it stretches our graph, and then 0. And we get all this going on because, again, it's still in radians. So you want to select degrees, and then we get this graph instead now. Now you can get really crazy with this one. So we know our sine graph doesn't go below 1. So we could change that to -2 and that to +2. And we get this for our graph. So we get a better view. So we know it's not going to go above 1 or below -1. And so clicking anywhere, it gives us our solutions. So 30 degrees is when we would get a half. And so our sine function would be also at 150 degrees. So there's our solution, 30 and 150. So this occurred at 30 degrees. And at 150 degrees. So our x equals 30 degrees and 150 degrees. So we're also going to use our TI-84 to do the same thing. So we're just using graphs to find our solution. So with the TI-84, we do the same thing. So we're going to do sine x, parenthesis, and then we're going to put a half in for our y2. Same exact thing. And then we got to adjust our window. So you want to click on window. And again, we're going to go from 0 to 360. We also need to make sure that our mode is in degrees. So click on mode and make sure it says degrees. It doesn't. Right now it's in radians. So you can see our graph is just like it was before in Desmos. So degrees. So mode should be in degrees. Our window should say 0 to 360. And our y should say sine x and a half. Now here's the best part. After this, before with Desmos, we have to actually put in -1 and 1. And you can go to your window and say, let's just do that, -2 and 2 for your y min and y max, and then you hit graph. So it graphs this for us, and see it goes up to 1, and then down to -1, and then back to 0, and it'll draw a line at a half. So these are our solutions. So to find them, you go second and trace. Trace is where we do all our calculations. And in there you will see an intersection, number 5. And so it's saying first function. So yes, we want to see when does sine x equal 1/2. And so you keep hitting enter. And then it says guess. Guess just means we have two answers. And so your guess is the number that it's close to. And since our blinking dot is already close to here, we're saying 180 degrees is close to this solution. So if I hit enter, it says 150, which is one of the answers we had. And then we do that again. So again, we want sine x equal to 1/2. You see how it's changing color up here? 1/2. And then we now need it closer to this one. Well, a number close to it would be 0, so you could enter 0. Or you can just scroll over. And you can see the x changing. So now our x here is 40. That's our guess. Hit enter. And it says 30, which is our answer. So that's how you do it in our TI-84. So we get these two answers. Let's try it again now. Now we're going to do it with sine of 2x equals a half. So we'll do Desmos first. So now you can see we've changed it to sine of 2x. And so it occurs twice as fast. So see there's one period. There's a second period. And we now have these 4 answers. So 15, 75, 195, and 255. So we can see that it occurs twice as fast going through this graph. See, so we're on at 15 degrees now. See how it's half as much. And since that was 360, it's now 180. But again, just clicking on the graph tells us our answers. So now we're going to try it again in the calculator, TI-85. 4. So we go for it and change it. It's sine of 2x now. And our window's still the same. We're going from 0 to 360, negative 2 to 2. So if we hit graph, gives us all of our solutions. See? So now we do the same thing. Second, calculate, and then intersect, enter, 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 and there's the 195, and you do it again over here, and do it again over here for your guess. So second, calc, intersect, and again, yes, we want sine of 2x to equal a half, right? And then now we want it closer to here, so you just keep scrolling till you get close to it. You can hold it down and it'll move. And then hit enter. It's your guess. And we get our 75. So that's it. You're just doing y2, y1. So let's do it one more time. I want you to try it now with y equals sine of 5x. So you're going to say y equals sine of 5x. And our other y is equal to a half. And you're going to graph it. And you should already know that this sine is going to occur 5 periods. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in that 360 degrees because it's 5 x's, right? 5. And so having that 1/2 across, you should see we have 10 answers. So I want you to use Desmos or the TI-85 to find those answers and then check back in and we'll see if you're correct. So hit pause now. So these are the answers you should have gotten. So you can see that 30 divided by 5 is 6, 150 divided by 5 is 30, and then our period's normally 360, so a fifth of that to get to each of the other angles. And then Desmos should look like this. And there they all are. And you can also use the TI-85 as well to do the exact same thing, but it's a lot. That's going to be 10 answers to find. All right, the next video will be with radians. Thank you. Thank you.